Open class exhibitors, if you can please make your way to the show ring, we are going to go ahead and get started with the open class beef show. Again, open class exhibitors, please start making your way to the show ring as we are going to start the open class show. All right, in the ring now, we have the Charlotte Composites open class show going on, the Neighbor Sisters. This is first call for the key breeding heifer, also shown by the Neighbor Sisters.
Well, good morning. In the Charlotte Composite in the open class here, this heifer, as you look at her, you have to admire the depth of rib, the spring of rib she has. Structurally, I like how she gets out and moves around the ring. I guess for me, I would just like to make her a little more angular, maybe a little more feminine through that front end. And she at this stage of her life sure wouldn't need any more condition. But just from the depth of rib, the spring of rib she has, and her structural correctness, that's one you could build a program on. And when she calves and melts down a little bit, she'll even look fresher and nicer than she does right now. Let's give this exhibitor a round of applause.
In the ring now is Class 2 breeding heifer, shown by the Neighbor sisters. First call, Class 3 Key Main Steer, shown by Cassidy Kowalski.
So in the key division, this heifer, as she comes out here, and we brought the Charolais composite back just for a companion, as you can see when I described that heifer about the rib shape, this one is made a whole different style. This one's got the length of body. She's tremendously long spine, very level out through her hip. She's got some extension and look up through that front end. You can see there's some angularity to that hock when she walks, maybe not quite as much flex in that pastern. But with that, then what you would like to do with this female is just give her more rib shape, more spring, more depth, just to balance her up. She just gets a little more tubular. But that's an interesting comparison of two opposites of what I just spoke about in the two individual classes. Once again, let's give this exhibitor a round of applause.
Entering the ring now is Class 3. This is a Key Main feeder steer, shown by Cassidy Kowalski.
So this calf, as he walks in the ring, and he brings a lot to the table, but for me, where he excels is just how structurally correct he is. When you start analyzing those feet and legs, he's got some flex to his pastern. He's got a nice set to that hock. He just gets out and travels so smoothly. Then as you start, if you were going to tweak that a little, maybe in the big scheme in this world, you could give him just a little more bone with that, but the structure wise is exceptionally good. Then you get behind this calf and you look at him from the side and you think he's adequate muscle, but you get behind him and he's big square hip, got a nice carry down into that lower quarter. He balances sure nice enough. I mean, he's not one of them that will just always just blow you away on the muscle side of it, but he's going to always have enough. And he always has that look. And the good thing about that, when you have him that structurally correct, you can keep feeding that one and working on him for a long time, and he'll always be right there where you want him to be. So once again, a great prospect for that young exhibitor. Let's give her a round of applause.
In the ring now is your Class 4 commercial breeding heifer, shown by the Neighbor sisters.
This March yearling heifer, as you know, when I look at her now, this is kind of the combination between those two that we have had. She has the springer rib, the depth of rib. She has some structural correctness. You know, when you start looking at her, she's just a really complete female. I think she's a March yearling, so I would consider her just moderate to medium frame, which that in this industry, that's one. No matter how you mate her, if you want them a little bigger, you can do that with the sire you use, or if you want to moderate her even more for whatever reason your program would like to go, she will let you do that. So like I said, I really like the muscle shape she has. She's one of them that just she doesn't have this elegant front, but she still lays in there extremely nice. Balances up quite well for where she is at this stage of her life. Just a really nice project for this young lady.
Attention in the barns. This will be first call for Class 1 Senior Showmanship. First call, Class 1 Senior Showmanship. Open class exhibitors, if you were a class winner in your class, please head up to the show ring. This is first call for overall open class breeding heifers. Champion open class breeding heifer.
So in this particular set of females, and as this is a perfect example of how you would like to evaluate, or if you're judging these more that you think they would make breeding heifers down the road, or if you think maybe that you would show them as a market heifer. For me, I'm going to start with the young lady right here to my right. This heifer probably, for me, is the most complete heifer. When you start analyzing her, and I would project her for sure to be a breeding female or breeding piece. With that length of body, that extension out through the front end, she has about the right amount of bone, and what you see is what you get. I mean, she isn't one of them that has a whole bunch of hair that's hiding anything. She's just a very complete package that when you step off of her, the depth of rib and spring of rib she has. For me, the close pair would have been in these two, and once again, this heifer, the Simmental influence heifer, probably more would be what I would call definitely on the breeding heifer side, but just more of a package that doesn't maybe have quite a show ring presence as the heifer I chose to start with. But boy, if you're just looking for doability, fleshing ability, having that depth of rib and that spring of rib that she has, she definitely brings that to the table. The one that's the hard one to analyze, and I think if she's out in the pasture, she looks way different than she does now, and she's finally chilling a little bit. But now this is a heifer that I would describe as where I would shoot her more to the market heifer division, because when you get behind her, she's really big hipped. She's got the length of body and the muscle expression to go with that. Maybe her hip to pin placement, maybe her pins are just a little bit lower, but as far as just sheer muscle shape and dimension, the extension of front, I think once she understands the show world and understands that it's pretty cool to be out here and have somebody bringing her around the ring, she's going to be one of them that is going to just keep looking better when she just relaxes and shows herself off. So once again, a really nice class. Kind of went to the breeding heifer side as I was evaluating these, but give these exhibitors a round of applause.
Entering the ring now will be the selection of the champion and reserve champion open class animals. This will also be second call for first class of senior showmanship. Second call, first class, senior showmanship.
as we get these class winners out here, and like I said, I have just gone through all of these, but I'll just touch base a little bit. The Charolais composite heifer. If you're just looking for muscle, the right amount of bone on one, heifer that for sure is, you can see that she's easy fleshing. A heifer that has the depth of rib, but balances pretty well from the side, where it takes a little bit away from her show ring presence is just into that brisket, that chest floor area. It's not quite as attractive there. Up top, coming out of that shoulder, she has that extension. Maybe not quite as attractive there, but that's sure going to be a really productive female. The steer calf that comes next, like where he excels to me is just how structurally correct he is. When I describe him, I think there's enough muscle there. There are going to be calves that when in his environment, when he starts competing, that will even be stouter made than him. But where he will always be able to compete is where he is structurally starting at that ground. And then the heifer that follows that. This is just a heifer that, when you look at her, she just balances extremely well, adequate in her bone. Maybe just not quite as good looking up through that shoulder neck, just doesn't, maybe that's where she's not quite as attractive. But from that shoulder back, she sure balances very well. And then the feeder heifer that came in that last class. And as I described her, she does a lot of things right. She has that show ring presence. That young lady does a great job of getting her presented. You can see that extension of the neck, the length of spine she has. She balances extremely well. I believe she's a March heifer calf, so she's coming along very nicely, progressing there. So as I analyze these four head, and then we'll pick a reserve, and if there's a class, a second in that class, we'll bring that out before we pick that. But give these exhibitors one more round of applause, and I'll show you my champion.
Final call, Class 1, Senior Showmanship. Final call, Class 1, Senior Showmanship. Your champion open class animal is coming out of Class 5, shown by the Neighbor Sisters. And your reserve champion open class animal is coming out of Class 3, shown by Cassidy Kowalski. Congratulations to all of our open class exhibitors.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Gage County Fair and Expo, the 4-H and FFA Beef Show. Order of show today, we're going to start off with showmanship. First class of seniors should be up at the ring. We'll be entering shortly. Following that, we'll have the intermediate divisions, junior divisions, showmanship finals, and then we'll go into Peewee Showmanship. Entering the ring is going to be the Riverview Junior Stockman 4-H Club to do our Pledge of Allegiance and the 4-H Pledge. We'll need everyone to stand and remove your hats.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic of which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge my heart-filled thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, and my health to better living, for my club, my community, my country, and my world.
All right, at the ring should be the first class, group number 1, senior showmanship. These are going to be 4-Hers age 14 and older. We'd like to welcome our judge today, Johnny Johnson. Johnny was born and raised and still resides in northeast Nebraska. He's been involved in the livestock industry and show arena all of his life. Johnny raises club calves and Sim-Angus breeding stock. In addition to the many county fairs, Johnny has had the privilege of judging in 24 states and also in Brazil and New Zealand. As a sports enthusiast, he enjoys watching basketball, softball, and football. Johnny and his wife, Melinda, have 2 grown and married children, Will and Stephanie Johnson, and Jenny and Stuart Harbin. And they have 2 granddaughters and 2 grandsons. Thanks for coming today, Johnny, and good luck to all the exhibitors today. First call for group number 2, senior showman. First call, group number 2. Second call, group number 2, Senior Showman. Second call, group number 2. Final call for group number 2, Senior Showman. Final call, group number 2. There is 4 classes of Senior Showman. We'll find out from Johnny how many he wants to have come back for selection of the overall Showman.
So as we get into this first heat of Senior Showmanship, and I know that this is going to get extremely competitive. I believe we have four groups of these, and as I watch these showmen and I know how hard that they're trying, I know what their goals are as when they come in the ring, and it's, you know, when you're going to bring a cow out for showmanship, if she just likes her baby, she's probably pretty easy to show. But if she's like all of you mamas and she loves her baby, when she can't see that baby, then they act like some of these cows do out here, and they don't want to stand. And that's unfortunate for them showmen, because I'm sure when they work these cows at home, and these are probably show heifers that they've had at one time, I'm going to guess that those cows worked extremely well. The young lady that's up here in this corner, and she was out here showing in the open class feeder heifer that wasn't even hers, and her work ethic and how she handles cattle is unbelievable. But this cow absolutely does not want to give her any cooperation whatsoever, and it has nothing to do with the showman. It's a two-way street, and that poor cow wants her baby way more than she wants to cooperate with that young lady, and I feel really bad for her because she has the ability and has the talent, and that cow just will not let her show it off today. The next young lady does a nice job as far as her composure. She has a lot of intensity. I like that about it. Once again, her heifer, and there was a lot going on, but her heifer just didn't respond and stay set up quite as much as I would like her to. I would just maybe like her to be able to walk that heifer into her setup a little quicker than she does. But still, man, you look at her face, you know that she comes out here with a very competitive edge. The next young man in line here, and this is where I would like to change you. Bring that female right here. Come right here. Keep coming. Now make a bigger swing. Come towards me. Come this way. Make a bigger swing, and don't cut yourself off. Give yourself a lot bigger swing. When you're standing and that heifer's cooperating, everything's good. Just keep going. Turn. There you go. Now come right back into this area. There you go. That's what I would like to change about you. Not so much how your animal sets up and stuff. I would just like to let you make it easier when you take them out on a little bit of a move. And the young lady with the Piedmontese, once again, this cow, I'm going to guess at home, did everything you wanted and thought this is my best chance in showmanship. When she gets out here, she's like, somewhere I have a baby, and that's where I want to go. But how your demeanor is, how your posture is, that's all really good. It's just the cow wasn't the teammate that you needed today. Let's give these exhibitors a round of applause as they exit the ring.
Receiving purples out of group number 1, Reagan Delabar, Rachel Beeler, and Haley Spilker. They'll be coming back after group number 4 to compete for the champion senior. Receiving blues, Ashton Humphreys, Evan Quackenbush, Kelsey Schlickman, and Avery Krause. At the ring should be group number 2 senior showman. First call for group number 3. Just a reminder that the Gage County Fair is live streaming all the shows here today. You can go to YouTube and do a quick search for the Gage County Fair, and it should pull up. Once again, go to YouTube and search for the Gage County Fair. Thank you to Diode Communications for all the work in putting that together. Second call for group number 3, Senior Showman. Second call, group number 3. Final call for group number 3. Final call, group number 3, Senior Showman.
In this particular class, the young lady with the appears to be the Bronve influence female. For me, I would just like that heifer to respond to her a little bit better. It's sometimes when you're the first one in the class, you can show how well they do lead, or sometimes you can show you need assistance, and that's one of them most of the time that just wouldn't get out and walk for the young lady. Now, as you can see, she's put enough effort in at home that the animal responds as far as just standing. I would like her to get her just a little more set, a little different on them hind legs, and give you that view from the side that just gives you that offset hind leg. But as far as her getting the head up and just, you know, having a companionship with that animal, she does that. But I would just like her to be able to exhibit it just a little more to get her up here in the purple ribbon. And the poor young lady with the Hereford Steer, and this steer, when he knows he's supposed to stop, or when it's in his mind he wants to stop, they do things really well. And you can tell that the way she has that hair coat going and stuff, that she has put a lot of effort into that steer at home. For some reason in this environment, he absolutely will not stop when she wants it. Once he stops and she gets it set up and she can get out away from it, her ring presence and her body posture that's what I'm looking for. But that steer just would not let her have that today in a continuous and all the time basis. So at this time, we're going to leave her in the blue ribbons and bring these 4 back. But let's give these exhibitors a round of applause as they exit the ring.
Receiving purples out of group number 2 is Kellen Schlickman, Shelton Crawford, Dustin Kapke, and Jordan Van Schoik. Receiving blues, Ashton Hoffling and Brianna Spilker. Top 4 purples in that class will come back after group number 4 gets completed to compete for the overall senior showman. At the ring should be group number 3. First call for group number 4 senior showman. Second call, group number 4, senior showman. Second call, group 4. Final call, group number 4, senior showman. Final call.
In this particular heat, I am going to bring 3 showmen back, but I am still awarding 3 purple ribbons in this class, and I'll explain myself a little bit just from the amount that we'll have come back. And the young man that has that red steer, you know, if you want somebody that's just cool and calm, and I'm not sure what would get his motor really revved up. I mean, this young man is how he responds as that calf responds to him. I mean, he doesn't, you know, maybe I would like just him to show me a little more intensity that I absolutely want to win this. But with that, having a feeder calf and they don't always react quite like you want them to, that young man's demeanor is trickling through his hand into that halter. And that calf absolutely does whatever he wants it to do. What I maybe would like him to do is just back away and be just a little prouder in his posture, but that's just a personal thing. That doesn't mean that that's what you have to do to the next judge, but that you can tell that he has put his work in at home and very deserving of that purple ribbon. And these three are not placed. I just wanted to make sure they were up there and getting that purple ribbon. The next young lady, you can see how she brings that calf in, and it'll just most generally stand right off by just walking it into it. And if not, she knows which foot needs to be moved. With that, young lady, and once again, that heifer's kind of a heavy-headed, kind of a little plainer-headed. What I would like you to do is do all you can to crank that head up and give her that visual appearance, or give it to me, of, just don't let it relax. Every once in a while, and that's kind of why I moved you one more time. If you would crank that head up and get that up and still have that focus that you have, you did everything except that little bit, but still very deserving to be in that purple ribbon. This next young man also, he comes out here, and once again, he has a perfect demeanor for that Hereford Steer. They work extremely well together. Once in a while on the side profile, like for me, and this is just nitpicking, I'd maybe like that foot on your side, just staggered ahead a little bit. But boy, how you position that animal and how you keep the head up, those are all way more positive things than the little thing that I'm separating you today on. But how you get away from him, how you stand up, that's all really good. The next young man, once again, as far as when that calf is standing, they have a great relationship between him and that calf. For me, as you can see, the calf just isn't set up quite as often. It doesn't respond to him. Just needs a little more work on that. Maybe getting himself just a little more intense when he's showing. And for the next young man, once again, now that heifer hadn't been showing for him. And now, as I'm talking, now that's what, if she would have done that the whole time, he would have easily been up there. And that's just, once again, when you start bringing these smaller cattle that maybe haven't been to shows, it makes it a little tougher to know how they're going to respond the first time, because when you're going into showmanship, you didn't have another time for her to get the whole feel. But if she would do that, and you would do what you're doing, then you would be here. So if she just would have cooperated at the very beginning, you would have been very deserving of a purple ribbon. Give these exhibitors a round of applause. We'll bring these three back.
Top three purples out of group number 3 that'll be coming back after group number 4 to compete for the champion senior showman is Hannah Holtmeyer, Abby Volish, and Carly Rains. Also receiving purples in that class, Mason Sedlacek, Caden Kapke, and Ella Crawford. Receiving blues, Gabriel Goes, and Seth Oltmans. At the ring is group number 4 senior showman. Following completion of this class, we'll have the selection for the champion senior showman. Out of group number 1, to come back to compete for that, we need Haley Spilker, Rachel Beeler, and Reagan Delabar. Out of group number 2, Kellen Schlickman, Shelton Crawford, Dustin Kapke, and Jordan Van Skoik. And out of the group number 3, Hannah Holtmeyer, Abby Volish, and Carly Rains.
So in this particular heat, it kind of looks like I separated the girls from the boys, and that had nothing to do with it. These three gals definitely came in, and you could tell right away their intensity and their smiles. They'll give you a little bit, but they're going to also tell you how intense they are. And for me, it's kind of interesting because I was here 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, and kind of watched these grow up a little bit. And so, how they've matured and how that has gone. Now, take nothing away from these three young men here. The young man with the heifer out in front, she's one of them that, from a disposition standpoint, she's broke really well. In the ring environment, she just doesn't quite grasp where she needs to be. The young man does a great job. You can see when he's leading her, he's got his hand position right, got her head up. He's walking at the pace that female needs to walk at. It's when they come into the stop position that she just doesn't just walk into it and just stop. And that's just repetition at home, getting that part going. The gray steer, he's one of them that's kind of a meat and potatoes. He just kind of comes in and stands. He doesn't do anything. But with that, then my showman, I just need a little more intensity. Just pick it up a little bit. Maybe get that head cranked up a little bit. Maybe get that foot on your side just a little farther forward, just to give me that offset leg appearance for me. And then why I was talking to the young man so much, it has nothing to do with anything except my learning. I don't know that I've ever judged showmanship with a young man with spurs before. And so I was asking him, and he said it was breakaway, right? You had just done his breakaway with his horse, which that's a steer running wide open down the ring, and your horse is trying to beat it. I said, I understand why you have spurs. And he said, they come in handy except that the horse stops faster than you do. He says, you sometimes end up a little farther ahead in the saddle than you want to. I commend him. The spurs had nothing to do with where he's standing. It was a learning experience for me. So I really enjoyed the conversation I had with the young man, and you can see, once again, the relationship he has with his heifer. He's got her broke. He's got her in the, as far as keeping her head up. Maybe I'd position his body out in front of her just a little bit, maybe offset that foot, but he's done a lot of the things as far as getting her broke, getting her in control, and just handling her very well. So once again, an excellent job by these three young showmen. Let's give everybody a round of applause as they exit the ring.
Top purples in group number 4, and who will be coming back now to compete for overall senior showman: Sarah Beeler, Natalie Tronick, Tatum Schroeder. Receiving blues out of group number 4, Ty Moss, August Gerlach, and Braden Humphreys. In the ring now is the selection of the champion senior showman, be the top 4 or the top purples out of the first 4 groups that we're in. First call for group number 1, intermediate showmanship. First call, group number 1. Second call, group number 1, intermediate showman. Second call, group number 1.
Well, the one thing I would tell you as spectators, parents, grandparents, extension educators, ag teachers, whatever you are, we had 4 heats of these kids and we had a number of good showmen that we sent back. But you have to be so proud of what your senior division has out here, just the quality. I'm sure that these showmen have whatever. I mean, this is more like a national level showmanship. I mean, these kids can go within whatever breed that maybe they were showing at a junior national this summer, or just maybe within their environment at the county fair here. This is an incredible lineup, and the one thing you have to remember, I don't have the scouting report. It's not my granddaughter or my grandson or my daughter or my son showing. So what you guys see is only what you want to see. You only see all the good things, and you don't necessarily, if my back's to somebody and they do something you don't like, you don't understand why I didn't use that showman. Well, that was on the backside of my head. I didn't get to see that. So what I see is right out here in front of me, and I see great competition. I see unbelievable intensity, the composure that these kids have. Once again, as you know, I'm not one of these. I don't do a quiz bowl. I don't ask them all of these questions that I think will beat them or not. And if that's what you like, you're not going to get that from me. What I'm going to do is just talk to these kids, see how they look at me, how they respond to me, what they maybe know about their calf, what show they've been to or how many shows they've been to. And that relationship that I had with these exhibitors was incredible. I mean, you have to be proud parents and grandparents and just to be involved, just to be here and know how good they handled that as far as just talking to me. So now the hard part comes, because when I'm just judging the animal, and if I disappoint that kid, it's not near as hard as when I'm trying to explain to that kid what I was looking for that day, because now it's more personal. It's between me and them, and you know, and if they've been taught a certain way, that doesn't make my way right. It just means what caught my eye that day. And unfortunately, I think I'm only picking a champion in reserve. Is that correct? So as you can tell, that's going to be just incredibly hard for me to be able to do that. What I'm going to do, because I have not talked about these exhibitors, I'm just going to go through and talk about each one a little bit, and then I'm going out and select your grand champion in reserve. But what I'm trying to get across to you guys is just be so proud of being able to have this many senior showmen, because a lot of county fairs, this wouldn't be the accumulation of 4 heats. This would be the accumulation of senior showmanship and maybe moving some more kids up. So this is what you can be really proud of. As I describe these showmen to you a little bit, this young lady does a great job. I like her posture. I like how she stands. She's just as proud of herself as she is of her calf. There's times that her calf wants to get a little stretched on her. She realizes that. She gets it walked into position. She does it very calmly. I like that about that. The young lady with the Charolais influence steer, you can see her composure. You can see her intensity. When she comes in the ring, you know that she's telling you, I want to be in the hunt. And as you can tell, that animal has been worked on a lot. It takes very little effort. He's one of them that loves to hold his head up, so he presents himself very well. The young lady with the feeder steer, and a lot of times that's a hard environment to come into senior showmanship, and you can tell that she has put her work in at home. She's got a great smile. She just draws you to her. She's one of them that you just love having them type in the show ring all the time, because you can see her enthusiasm and how much she appreciates the opportunity to be out here showing. The next young lady also, when she first come in her first heat, her heifer was a little fast, wasn't quite as responsive, and once she chilled, you can see the composure of this young lady. Her heifer very seldom, the only reason she uses the show stick is just as a scratching device. Just most generally, she'll walk into it. She holds the head up very well. The next young man also, I believe this is a limousine breeding heifer that he's showing, and you know, she just does a lot of things naturally for him. What I would like you to do a little bit maybe is be as intense the whole time. You come in at times, and then once in a while I see you relaxed a little. But there you go. You crank that head up, maybe get a little farther in front of the heifer. There you go, right there, that position. The young man with the Piedmontese cow, and this is one of them, as I describe, a demeanor that both the cow and the young man have. I mean, I think he said this is a 6-year-old cow, and that cow has probably been showed quite a bit, and she just comes in and stands, and the young man kind of stands, and they make, it's just they make a nice team. I don't know if he has, quite as much intensity, but the cow responds to everything he does. So, there's a fine line of exactly what you're looking for, because he does a lot of things very correct. The next young lady, if you don't like that smile, and if she doesn't catch your eye with just the passion that she has about showing and stuff, that's what always draws me to her. And then once again, I talked about showing these cows isn't always easy if they're wanting their baby. And right now, the second time in, this cow's thinking there's a better place to be. than in this ring, but boy, she knows exactly, and when that cow will walk into it and she gets her body, gets that head cranked, and she gets out there and she's talking to that cow, that's the kind of showman that, I get drawn to. The young man with the Hereford heifer, once again, there's a calmness there between that young man and that heifer. She does so many things right as far as getting set up, giving you the look. For me, maybe I'd like you to keep that head straight. You see how you're pushing it to me a little? Keep that in a straight line, give her a little more extension, and that's just fine lines of things that I would like to do. The young lady with the Hereford heifer has a lot of the same qualities as far as just the demeanor she has. And as you can see, that heifer was out. She walked her right back in. I would maybe like to move you in front of the muzzle of your heifer. Just step forward just a little right there. So I'm seeing the heifer and then you rather than you hiding. Now, if you want just sheer intensity, this young lady will bring it to the table all the time. And all of her life, she's been that way. She knows, if you watch when she's working that heifer kind of will have its tail up a little bit. Now, you watch the routine that she does. She'll bring it in. She will set the heifer up, which normally she'll walk into it. Then she'll loin the heifer. And then she'll touch the tail to make sure the tail's down. And that's her routine. We'll see if she's going to do what I just called her to do. And see how she does that? She knows the faults of her heifer. She knows that her heifer's just a little stronger top. At times when that heifer's walking, she raises her tail up. So she knows she needs to do it. So that's just doing your homework at home. That's knowing what you got and how you do it, and then you bring that intensity to the show ring. Now, this next young lady absolutely has a passion for life. She just absolutely. I remember judging her a few years ago. Had just as much intensity, just as much desire. Is she fine-tuned in the showing part? Pretty close. Is she fine-tuned in how to enjoy life? She's an A+. The next young lady, once again, you can tell that she has put incredible effort, not only in how she presents her animal, but just as how the heifer responds. I mean, it takes no time. It's not an effort for her at all as far as getting the heifer in position. The thing that I was very amazed about as she came in, and she was one of the first ones in the ring in her heat, and this is a hard thing to teach showmen, and I don't mean senior showmen, but on juniors and intermediate. Sometimes we want to walk the animal at the pace we want to walk at, instead of at the pace the animal walks best. This young lady excels at walking her heifer at the exact pace that heifer looks the best. Now, that's not the only thing you do well, but that was what caught my eye. When you came in, you knew exactly the pace you needed to walk that heifer at. And the young lady with the steer, I mean, if you're talking, and like I said, if I were selling livestock to any of these kids, I would never say, well, if you were a better showman, I'd really like you to have I'd love any of these to show animals from me. And like I said, they bring an intensity and a quality that I just marvel at, because this is hard. This is hard work. And I've been out here quite a while working them, and they still do an incredible job. And this young lady does all of those things to that highest level also. You can see the circle she makes and how she makes a big enough swing and how she brings it in. And then as she's getting ready to stop her animal, you see how she switches and scratches and walks, and boom, now we're set up. So those are things that we look at. The problem is she's not the only one that does that, so it gets way, way harder for me. But what I'm telling all you kids, this is deep water. You can hate me for a little bit. You can kick some shavings, not right in front of me. Kick them when you get back to the barn. Maybe go drink an iced tea or lemonade, and realize how competitive this was. And then maybe I won't be quite as bad a guy right at this moment. But once again, pat yourselves on the back, and I'll go select your champion and reserve showman.
Final call for group number 1, intermediate showman. Congratulations to the champion senior showman, Natalie Tronick of Wymore. Reserve is Abby Volish of DeWitt. We are going to have an overall showmanship after completion of the junior showmanship division. Coming back for that is also going to be Carly Rains of Dorchester and Tatum Schroeder of Beatrice. Receiving a belt buckle. The belt buckle for the senior division was sponsored by Jay and Terry Naveen. We'll have two divisions of intermediate in the ring right now is the first group. First call for group number 2, intermediate showman. First call, group number 2. Second call for group number 2, intermediate showman. Second call, group number 2. Final call for group number 2, intermediate showman. Final call, group 2.
So in this first heat, we're going to bring 4 back, and I will talk about these 4. And once again, as I talk about, when you bring these younger cattle out here, it just takes more, the work at home, just because those cattle just haven't had the experience of all these people and the show ring environment. And this heifer, from a disposition standpoint and minding the halter, does that very well. It's just when she gets on the side profile and stuff, she just doesn't probably get set up quite as quickly. Maybe if I were you, young man, I'd even like you to get out in front of her a little bit and keep that head up. There you go. Get in that position right there and make sure them feet are set up. The one thing that we're probably going to have to keep on top of when it's this hot and humid and stuff, fly spray will be a high commodity today. I mean, we're going to need lots of it because in this poor young man, his disadvantage is that there was a big old horn fly in here, and for some reason that was the heifer he had selected to chase around the ring. Well, if you have something like that chasing you, standing is not a priority. So, so he got off to a bad start. Now that heifer's just once again trying to adjust, and you can see that what I like, and he's trying really hard, but he is not getting so mad at his heifer that if we have somebody that doesn't approve with everything we're doing, that young man isn't going to be condemned for that. He's doing everything he can in the right manner to handle that heifer. And as you can see, now as we're talking about her, she's getting the whole grasp of what she's supposed to be out there. And that's because of that young man's demeanor, how he handled himself, and that has trickled down into that heifer. Once again here's one that maybe we could just get a little more intensity when he comes in the ring, but just from a disposition standpoint, he's worked very hard that way. I would just like that heifer to get her feet set up a little bit. Same with this next young man. And as you look at him, you can see he looks like somebody you just like to go talk to. I mean, he's got that kind of attitude and demeanor, and so that's awesome to me. I love that. What we just need is that heifer just to be set up a little quicker, maybe get your posture and position right out there just like that, and be just as proud as that of you of your heifer as she is of you. But once again, let's give these exhibitors a round of applause as they exit the ring.
Results of group number 1, a class that consisted of 4 purples and 4 blues. Receiving purples, who will come back and compete for the overall intermediate showman: Addison Thiemann, Addison Koenig, Boston Crawford, and Sydney Brower. Receiving blues in group number 1, Jace Moss, Peyton Humphreys, Carson Goes, and Drew Sims. At the ring now should be group number 2, intermediate showman. Over by the main entrance, there should be a cooler that has a bunch of free waters in it. We'd like to thank Farm Credit Services of America for sponsoring that. Once again, over by the boards where all the results of the herdsmanship and livestock judging, right in front of that should be a cooler, complimentary water from Farm Credit.
in this particular heat. I'm only going to bring 2 back, and there's some probably right on the bubble that maybe that could have been in there, but I'll just go through here and kind of explain what I've seen. And this young lady, her calf is one of them. You can tell her ring presence and what she wants to do with that calf. That calf just is not in that mood today. Once again, I'm going to guess this would be one of its very first shows. And when it gets here and it starts seeing all this other stuff, watching or doing what she wants it to do is probably not what that calf has got in his mindset. So that makes it a little harder. And you can see that she just keeps working and keep trying, and he just won't respond. The young man with the Charolais heifer, when she first come in, she wasn't going to respond as well. Now, as the composure of the young man and the heifer is getting the whole concept of the show ring, now he's got her set up quite well. What I would like him to do maybe is just hold her head up a little higher, and maybe when he does that, that's when she gets a little antsier, where she is comfortable, where he had her at that position. And that's some of the scouting report that maybe I don't have, but that as that young man and that heifer get better at that, that's what I would like him to improve on, is just getting that head cranked up, maybe his body presence as far as just getting out, being proud of that animal that he has. This young man, there's a lot of things he does that I really admire, and you can see how he looks at you and how focused he is. I like those things about it. He gets out in front of his animal. Maybe could even get him a little closer on that chain, but that's hard when you're young, and that chain, sometimes I like, yep, that's exactly right. That's a way to listen. His calf is just in one of them deals that it just doesn't always want to lead for him, and that's just once again having these younger cattle. But you can see his demeanor. You can see how that trickles down into that calf, and they make a really good pair on the stand. It's just unfortunately for him, it doesn't always want to walk. The young man with the red baldy steer, and once again, disposition-wise, you probably can't get him any tamer. What we would like both of them to do a little bit more, I'd like you to get out in front of your calf, step out in front a little more, raise that head. He's a little heavier headed, but raise it as high as you can. And then we just need that feet placement a little bit better. But as far as how you've got it clean, you've worked on it disposition-wise, you've done a great job there. The next young man, same way. You can see how hard he works at it. I admire that about him, and you can see the disposition of that animal. I think he could let the lead strap go, walk over there and come back, and she'd stand right there. So he has put that work in, maybe just not quite as much ring presence, but that's okay. That comes with just keep coming and keep working at it. The next young lady, once again, here's one that when she gets it set up and stuff, it does a good job. That calf just is new enough in the halter breaking deal. Leading is not in its memoir of what to do, and so she struggled a little that way, but she's still out here. Let's give all these exhibitors a round of applause.
Top 2 Purple Award winners out of group number 2 that'll stay in the ring to compete for the overall intermediate showman goes to Jacob Wallenberg and Seth Dean. Receiving blues in group number 2, Jaden Thompson, Ruby Goes, Miley Gaddy, Caleb Schnelly, Jesse Oltmans, and Trevor Kapke. From group number 1, there will be 4 purples that will come back and compete now for the intermediate showman. Addison Thiemann, Addison Koenig, Boston Crawford, and Sydney Brower. Our junior showmanship division is going to have 4 groups. First call for group number 1. Actually, making second call for group number 1. Go ahead and be making your way to the ring. Final call, group number 1, junior showman. Final call, group 1.
As I get ready to select your champion and reserve intermediate showman, and as we get these out here, and we didn't have as many numbers to work with, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's still high quality showmen and a lot of, still 2 heats, which once again, like I said, majority of the county fairs would be more than happy to have that many. And so I'll go through once again and describe the showman to you, and then as I finish up, then I will show you my champion reserve. The young lady right here that in standing with her black steer, and they have that companionship of just getting along, really relaxed. That steer's one that likes to hold its head up and give you that nice side profile. She does a great job with that. There's times that I would really like to make sure that she glances at them feet, like right now, and maybe walk him forward and just keep him set up. There you go. And that doesn't happen very often. But when the judge is talking about you, you really hope it doesn't happen, because then that just makes it a little tougher on me. But I really like her, this young showman, and I even asked her, I said, as she's walking, she's really casual. And then if I make eye contact with her, it seems like she tenses up a little. And I assured her that I'm okay, that she can smile at me and be calm and relaxed. The other thing that, and this is just nitpicking on me, like right now, you see how your one leg gets a little casual? Not on your calf. There you go. That's the posture I want all the time. Now, when I'm down there, and if you need to relax your legs a little bit, I don't mind you doing that. But when I'm here, that's the posture. I don't want you to be too casual. I want you to sell me on that calf, and that's the position. So you're very coachable, because like that, you're doing everything I do. So that's awesome. The young lady with the red heifer, and this is kind of just a really good pair, because this heifer loves to show. She knows what speed this heifer looks best at when she's walking. And then when she gets that heifer into position, 95% of the time she walks into it. She uses a show stick just as a calming device for herself and the heifer. And that's the look that you have almost all the time. If I were just going to change a little thing, I would maybe move your body out in front of her, just right in that position. But that does nothing about your abilities. That's just what I would like, but the next judge might not care that at all. Here's another. You can see the intensity on this young man, and he works really hard at it. And his heifer makes him work hard at it. She doesn't always want to keep her feet set, or she wants to move a little. So then he's feeling the heat out here right now, because it's hard. You got to keep the head up. You got to keep her feet set up. You got to keep your posture, and he's doing all that. But that heifer isn't exactly helping him do that. And a lot goes to this next young lady. She does a lot of that same thing. Her heifer she knows where it wants to be. She doesn't always want to hold that pose quite as long as she would like it to. But you can see her posture, where she is out in front of that heifer, where she's got her hand. She's doing a really good job. This next young man is one that, if you've noticed, I've been talking to him a little bit, and it's just, he is so intense and wants to be so good at it. Sometimes he wants to do it a little fast, and then that's how that heifer responds. And I told him, I said, we don't always have to turn a circle, because that heifer now believes that that's what you always have to do. I said, convince her you only have to take a step forward or something. So as you can see, and that isn't what has cured anything. I'm just telling him in the long haul and all of the years of his showing that will help him. But boy, you can tell how he loves to work on that animal, and how he knows she needs to walk into it. And he is intense. I mean, he is, I like that about him. He comes out here with a great attitude. The next young man also, I mean, now his demeanor is quite a bit different than this one. This one, I mean, I think you'd have to have a cherry snow cone or something to fire this one up right now. I mean, he looks like that's what he would like right now. But he still is doing a great job. He just doesn't have quite as much intensity. His passion for it might not be quite as much, but still very deserving of a purple ribbon. Give these exhibitors a round of applause, and I'll show you my champion.
Congratulations to the intermediate showman. Champion is Addison Tiemann of Adams. Reserve champion Seth Dean of Douglas. Also coming back to compete for the overall showmanship award following the selection of the junior showman, Addison Koenig of Beatrice. The belt buckle for the intermediate division, sponsored by Sapp Brothers Petroleum, Inc. In the ring now is group number 1 of junior showmen. These are 4-H'ers that are aged 10 years and younger. Quite a few young showmen here. We got 4 groups today. First call for group number 2, junior showmen. Second call, group 2, junior showman. Second call, group 2. Final call, group number 2, Junior Showman. Final call, group 2.
So now, senior showmanship, the kids get mad at you. In junior showmanship, the kids give you a smile like, where are you going to put me? You know, like they almost have this mischievous grin on their face like, I'm pretty good. Do you think I'm deserving to come back? Or just blue ribbon? Or where are you going to put me? And if I don't like what you're doing, I'm going to smile at you and see if that'll help me. And so that makes it really tough to judge these junior kids because they have a great attitude. You know, they just like the idea of being out here. I'm going to give these two still purple ribbons. And I just because we have 4 heats, that's still going to be quite a few to bring back. But I still thought they were very deserving. And this young man, boy, his intensity, how he keeps that head up. Sorry about that. Here, let me get out of your way. You know, I love all about that. He knows how the head, you know, what probably today keeps him from over here is his animal just doesn't want to set the feet up quite as well. But his posture, what he does, it's still very deserving of a purple ribbon. And so I wanted to make sure that we acknowledged him for that. And then this young lady, that when she first come in and as I walked in front, she was intently setting this steer up. And this steer is like, you know, if you were out in the forest, this big old grizzly bear that would come up behind you that just would want to eat what food you have. That looks like what this calf is. I mean, he's as tame as can be, but he's got a heavy head. And when you're that size and you're trying to, you know, have a 1,100 and some pound steer raise his head up, that's hard to do. But how hard she was working, and when she set them feet up the very first time, and I said, do you have them where she wants? And she looked again, she said, yeah, I think so. I said, well, then leave them, because that's what you've worked on at home. You knew where you wanted it, so that's what you did. And she had it set up right. I was just seeing how confident she was. She said, yes, that's where he needs to be. So, you know, I love talking to her and how well, you know, her animal is just so tame that maybe he doesn't always do everything. But boy, that kind of showman, that kind of intensity, that'll go a long ways. The next young lady, she's just got the sweetest smile. She's got a calf that probably would follow you anywhere if you're not in the show ring. You know, it's just one of those that when it's in here, it locks up, doesn't want to move. But you can see it's very gentle, got a great disposition. The next young man also, he's worked very hard. His heifer probably doesn't respond to the halter quite as well, doesn't want to stop and go quite like he wants, but he's still very intense, working very hard. Next young man does a great job. His heifer probably at times sets up like this, and at times he doesn't. What I would like him to do is just keep a little more, watch your animal, make sure she's set up, and if you keep doing that, we'll get you up into the purple ribbons. Give these exhibitors a round of applause, please.
Top 4 Purple Award winners out of the group number 1 in Junior Showman: Landry Krause, Lane Schnelly, Luke Katz, and Lane Etronic. Also receiving purples in that class: Dayton Dorn and Zach Schnelly. Receiving blues: Aiden Party, Elise Derrickson, and Gage Argo. In the ring now is group number 2 Junior Showman. First call for group number 3 Junior Showman. First call, group number 3. Second call, group number 3 Junior Showman. Second call, group 3. Final call, Group 3, Junior Showman. Final call, Group 3. The plan as of now is after Peewee Showmanship, which will take place after the overall showmanship class, we will take a 20-minute lunch break. Once again, scheduled 20-minute lunch break following Peewee Showmanship.
Just stand right up here. In this particular heat, we're going to bring back these two exhibitors. Then I'm going to give 3 more purples and 4 blues. And this young lady that just come up here, and I think she's very deserving of a purple ribbon as far as how she handles herself and her composure. Her heifer right now, for some reason, just is in that idea that she's got to keep pushing her around. But that young lady does an incredible job of keeping her composure and being way stronger than she is, because she's just not very big. But that heifer, as hard as that heifer tries to push her around, she still is in control. Maybe doesn't always get her set up quite like you would like, but just because the heifer's on the fight, but still does an incredible job. This next young man here is kind of interesting, just from the idea he is so calm and so relaxed, and his calf, I think, if he wanted to walk it through the midway and the carnival and all of those things, I think it would go anywhere with him. With that, once in a while, it gets a little out of position. Maybe the feet aren't set quite as much, but when you have worked on one that well and have it that well to walk, still very deserving to be in a purple ribbon. This young lady right here has a lot of things she does very well. What I would like to instill in her is how good she is. I would like to she seems like we need a little more confidence in her. And if we make her believe she's really good, I think the sky is the limit for her. But I think I think she doubts herself a little bit, and she really shouldn't, because you're really good at what you do. So believe in yourself and just keep working at it, because how you handle your animal and everything, you just do a really good job. The young man with the little baldy heifer, you can see as far as getting her washed and cleaned and presented, he has done a fabulous job that way. He's done all of the work at home. That little heifer just responds really well for him. You know, maybe he isn't always, his eye contact isn't quite as good, but that'll come as he keeps coming in the ring. The next young man, he's fun to talk to. He's energetic. His calf just responds maybe okay to him. Doesn't set up quite as well. You can see the smile on this next young man's face. I'm glad that he's out here. He's out here working his tail off. His heifer maybe doesn't always do everything he wants to do. The young lady with the red heifer, that heifer I believe is probably coming in heat today. Well, there's nothing worse than showmanship and coming in heat, because all she wants to do is run the young lady around the ring. But that's not her fault. That just happened to be the day that heifer came in, and it made it really hard for her to have the right combination in showmanship. Give these exhibitors a round of applause as they exit the ring.
Top two Purple Award winners that'll come back and compete for the overall Junior Showman is Hannah Schnelly and Logan Katz. Also receiving purples, Chloe Brower, Natalie Dean, Devin Anderson. Receiving blues, Monroe Thompson, Weston Whitwer, Dayton Pullman, and Preston Costal. In the ring now will be Group 3 of Junior Showman. First call, group number 4. Once again, Farm Credit Service of America has some water out in the entrance area. I believe First State Bank also has water, and outside the building, I'm told they have some popcorn. And the Ag Society, in celebration of the 150 years, has cookies out there as well. All complimentary. Feel free to stop by and get some. Brandon and Tim, you should be in group number 3. If you are showing in the class, come on up. Brendan and Tim. Second call for group number 4, Junior Showman. Second call, group 4.
So this class, for an advantage or disadvantage, when you're in junior showmanship and there's a lot of commotion, it's hard to focus on exactly what we're supposed to be doing in the ring. And so, when you're smaller, you're always kind of worried about if another calf is swinging and stuff. And we had a lot of activity out here. These two young men over here did a really nice job of keeping their composure. It's still hard. There's a lot going on. And so I think very deserving to be. There's some of these other showmen that I guarantee you that probably normally would be in the purple ribbon group, that their cattle just today weren't going to respond. That young lady with the red calf, that calf's pretty calm. It just doesn't always want to stop and set up. Right now it's doing a pretty good job. We could maybe bring that offside leg up just a fraction. But the composure of that young lady, she's doing a great job. The young man with the panda face heifer coming next. Now, if that heifer would have responded at all to anything he wanted to do, you can see that he has the quality of being a really good showman. And for some reason, she got in here and there was so much activity, she thought she should be involved in moving around and doing all that. Now that he's got her set up and the heifer's calmed down, you can see what a great job he does. And if that heifer would have just done that part of the time until when I started talking, we sure could have got him up here in the purple ribbons, because he's doing a superb job now. The young man with the feeder calf, you can see from a disposition standpoint, he's done a great job there. We probably just need a little more ring awareness, get him to have that head up a little bit. But that just experience coming back in the show ring, and the only way you get that is just keep coming, keep fighting, learning, practicing at home. And as you can see, this next young man, that big old black heifer, when she first come in the ring, she was pushing and shoving and moving all over. Now that she's chilled out a little bit, she's gotten way better. You can see his posture, where he holds that heifer, how high he's got her head. He's doing a superb job. The next young showman with the yellow and white calf here, you can, from once again, he's done the work as far as getting it very clean, getting it halter broke, maybe just, learning how to keep the animal square in the show ring, giving us that show ring appearance would help that a little bit. But boy, you can still see how much he enjoys the show ring. And the next young lady with this white calf, it's just one of those that just today, he just doesn't want to stop. I'm going to guess that its mother is somewhere out back behind, and that's where he'd rather be. When it kind of cooperates and does what it's supposed to, you can see then they make a pretty good pair. Let's give these exhibitors a round of applause.
Results of class number 3. Purple award winners will be coming back to compete for the overall junior showman. Following group 4 is Bentley Myers and Caden Allington. Receiving blues in group 3, Easton Thompson, Addison Brandt, Strider Brandt, Austin Costel, Claire Schnelly, and Haley Goes. At the ring now will be group number 4, final group of junior showmanship. Following group number 4, we need out of group number 1 to come back and compete for the overall junior showman. Landy Kraus, Lane Schnelly, Luke Katz, Laney Tronick, Hannah Schnelly, Logan Katz. Then out of group 3, Bentley Myers and Caden Ellington.
in this final heat of the juniors, we're going to bring back 3 showmen, and there's some of these probably that are right on the bubble that maybe could have got into that purple. I kind of visited with some of them a little bit of what I would like to do as far as when they're making a circle and how they can pull in and making it easier for them. It's the idea of if you make that bigger circle and don't twist that animal around, it just makes it easier to pull in. And so I was working with the young man with the Hereford, just trying to give him a few tips in that way. The young man here with the Charolais heifer, he's fun to visit with. I was asking him how many other siblings were in his family and stuff, and he said he's got another brother and a couple sisters. And, you know, that's what's fun for me, is that if these young kids will talk to you and have conversation with you, that's a big part of what we're trying to do, of what they'll do for us down the road. And so this young man has that. And once again, as you can tell, he's put his homework in at home. Maybe we would like him to get those feet set up a little more and stuff, but that'll come as he keeps getting more competitive and he gets more times in that show ring. That'll come along. This next young man does a good job as far as where he tries to position his heifer. What I would like you to do sometimes, young man, and this is a pet peeve of mine, I would like you to keep your feet closer together. Sometimes you put that foot up in the air or you get it out there. Bring that left foot back by your other one. Bring your foot, not the calf's foot. No, listen to me. Your foot. No, your leg. Bring your leg back. There you go. There you go. That's the position I want. Once you get that animal set, and if you need your foot to set up the front foot, that's fine. Then I want you to bring it back and have that type of posture, is all I'm telling you. And the next judge might not be it's not a huge thing. It's just where I like you to be in position to your calf. Great job here. You know, as we were working about how you make a bigger swing and then it's easier to get your animals, now she looks really good. You know, we maybe get her head pulled up a little bit, but it's hot out here, and the longer we work, it's harder to keep our intensity. You keep working at it. Young man with the black calf, once again, you can see that he's got the disposition of the calf and him kind of coincide and work together. She just doesn't work with the show stick quite as well. And the young lady with the smaller calf. I mean, that calf is as gentle as can be. They make a great pair. Anytime you can have that smile on your face and be showing cattle, it doesn't get any better than that. Let's give these exhibitors a round of applause as they exit the ring.
Our top 3 showmen from group number 4 that'll stay in the ring to compete for the overall junior showman: Trevor Spilker, Logan Koenig, and Dalton Dorn. Receiving blues in Group 4, Chase Larson, Cash Bergen, Dawson Sims, Karsten Schnelly, and Shelby Kapke. Coming back in from Group 1 will be Landry Krause, Lane Schnelly, Luke Katz, and Laney Tronick. Group 2 will have Hannah Schnelly and Logan Katz. And from Group 3, Bentley Myers and Caden Allington. After selection of the champion junior showman, we will then have overall showmanship championship. From the seniors, coming back for that will be Natalie Tronick, Abby Volish, Carly Rains, Tatum Schroeder. From the intermediates, Addison Tiemann, Addison Koenig, and Seth Dean. Peewee Showmanship will follow the overall showmanship finals, and then we'll have a 20-minute break before we move in to the market show.
Okay, I'm going to give a quick go through these showmen just a little bit. They've been out here working. I'm sure they're getting hot, and as I talk to them and I ask them, if they got a little water or iced tea or something before they come back out, just to replenish themselves so that they can keep that energy up, because with this heat, we got to keep an eye on them youngsters and make sure they keep hydrated all day long. This first showman, it just does an incredible job as far as I'm concerned of just his composure, his intensity. That animal works so well for him, and he knows exactly what her faults are, what he wants it to do. And so there's no doubt as he's out here, you notice him, and he does a superb job at all times. This next young lady also has that same type of intensity. When she come in the ring, she's got an outstanding heifer, and I'm going to guess she's been to a number of shows with her, and with that heifer responds. Guys, go help those guys down. She responds to that young lady, and that heifer is so gentle that as we're walking her at times, the heifer just gets kind of tired of walking, but that's nothing to take away from the showman. And you can see she knows exactly where that female should be set up, gives you an incredible look when she gets her to that position. The next young man has a heifer that's a little harder to show, not from a disposition standpoint, not from a how she walks into it, so because she sets herself up really well, but she's just a little heavier headed, and when you're smaller and younger, that's hard to do, to keep that head up, but he normally has those feet set right where he needs to. My little red-headed showman here does a fantastic job. I mean, that heifer hasn't just cooperated all the time, and he never quits working. He's always working, trying to get them feet set up, and if she'll walk into it, he'll let her do that. And as like right now, when she isn't quite set up, he's working very adamantly to get her where he needs to go. And when he does, he gets that head cranked up there, and he is one intense showman. The young man with the Charolais calf, once again, just from a disposition and his ring awareness, he does a really good job. There's times maybe when his calf is a little turned, we'd like him to straighten that out, but that'll come. He does a good job. The young showman with the black baldy heifer, and one of the things I commented to him was, obviously, it took a lot of soap and cleaning her to get that face that white and get her presented like that. When he came, I mean, he was ready for show day. I admire that about him. He's done a great job of presentation. I like his posture. I like how he gets out away from that heifer. There's a couple times that heifer maybe doesn't walk quite as well as some of the others, but man, just from a show ring, that guy does a great job. My young little showman here with the white bow in her hair, I love watching her. She is one intense showman, and if she thinks that foot is maybe an inch off, she thinks she's got to move that. And there's been a couple times that I've gone up to her and I said, it looks pretty good to me. Today maybe I just leave it and smile at me and raise that head up a little bit, and she'll do that. And but I just like how her ring presence, but she is one, I don't know that I would want to be her husband someday, because I'm going to guess there's nothing laying around the house or nothing. I mean, it will be spotless. I'm going to guess by watching how intense she is on everything, as being so careful with it. This next young showman came in the ring smiling at me, and I said, do you remember me when you showed in junior showmanship? And he said, absolutely. And I said, well, I remember you because I asked him who did his hair, because I wanted to know if my hair could look like that. And he said at that time his mom was doing it. Now he says most of the time he does it, but if he needs a little fine tuning, he lets his mom kind of straighten it out in a few spots. So I love this guy. Now maybe his heifer doesn't always respond, but if you want to know somebody that knows everywhere I am all the time, his eyes will look right through you. I mean, he can stare holes in you, and he still does a great job, has a wonderful smile. We get a little different here. This guy's maybe intense, but it's inside of him. You don't notice it as much. He doesn't convey it through his facial expressions, but how he sets his animal up and stuff, he does a great job. I like what you do. Your calmness comes into the calf. You do a great job that way. The young man with the red Hereford heifer, once again, that calmness that he has, he conveys that into that heifer. He knows where them feet are supposed to be, and if they're out of place, if you watch him, he's always making sure she looks as good as can be. I like that about it. This last showman, this young man here, this calf does a great job standing. I mean, his posture and what he does, she maybe doesn't get around the ring and walk today in the showmanship environment quite as well, but still, a great job. Give all these exhibitors a round of applause. I'll select your champion.
Congratulations to the champion junior showman. Going to receive a belt buckle sponsored by Cracky Real Estate. Luke Katz, reserve champion, Lanny Tronick. And also coming back for the overall showmanship award, Logan Katz. All right, we're going to bring back in the finalists from each of the junior, intermediate, and senior division. This will be for the overall showmanship award. These awards are sponsored by Security First Bank of Beatrice. Following selection of our overall showman, we will then have Peewee Showmanship. Anybody who would like to take a part in that, go ahead and find yourself a calf and you can start lining up by the entrance of the ring. Following Peewee Showmanship, there will be a 20-minute lunch break, and we'll promptly go into the market show.
As I get ready to select your top overall, 4 overall showmen, and as I have been describing these showmen to you all day, you have to be so proud, and the showmen themselves have to be the accomplishments that they have made, and when they go to other shows, I'm sure that they're always chasing and always in the hunt for within their division or even on past that. And as I get these out here again, I just feel so privileged to be out here to get to work with these youth and get to see the talent that they have and their abilities. And like I said, and what is even better for me is just how they respond to me and how they have a smile on their face, and how they relate to me and communicate to me, because that's what we need in our industry and just in the world today is that ability to communicate and have an open mind and see what these young showmen can do is just amazing to me. I'm not going to, I guess when I was describing the senior showmen and the intermediates and the juniors, like I said, they were really good, and take nothing away as you keep getting older and improving. But I'll go out and select your champions, and once again, I am so impressed. Give them a big round of applause as I go out and do that, please.
Congratulations to Natalie Tronick, the overall showman here at the 2021 Gage County Beef Show. The award is sponsored by Security First Bank. Glad to have Chris Jones with us from Security First to present these awards. They also provide medals for the first, second, and third runner-up. First runner-up was Abby Volish. Second runner-up, Carly Rains. And third runner-up, also out of the senior division, Tatum Schroeder. Been asked if Natalie and Abby could both go to the backdrop. Beatrice Daily Sun would like to get a picture. Once again, Natalie and Abby, please go to the backdrop.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Peewee portion of the fair. And I would like to acknowledge, if you'd please, the way he's worked with these kids in showmanship. Acknowledge our judge, Johnny Johnson, please. This is an amazing performance by a judge. I think you will get no better excellence from a Peewee and from a beef judge teaching these kids in showmanship, and we're so excited to have him. Kids, it's your time for Peewee Showmanship. This is non-judged. This is with an adult or an older 4-H member. Brought to you by the Gage County Ag Society and Farm Credit Services of America. This is one of the highlights of the fair, and we're so pleased to bring it to you. We're going to let about maybe 10 of you into the arena at a time just to make it safe for everybody. Give yourself some distance, and we have a showmanship bag for you at the end. So, Peewee Showmanship, we want y'all to be very safe and have a fabulous time out there this morning. Yesterday. Oh, Brett Esau. Okay, Peewee Showmanship. Please enter the arena.
What's your name, young man?
Wyatt.
Wyatt. How old are you?
6.
6. Is this who's helping you show the calf? You know that guy behind you?
Dayton.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming out. I think do we have something to give these kids as they go? They're over there. Just keep walking over there. I'll really tell you why this is the spot I picked, because it's right under the fan. So I'm going to act like I know a little bit about where I should be standing. Hello, young lady. How old are you?
Good.
How old are you?
7.
7. So are you going to show here in the next year or so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you have helping?
Caleb.
Is he related to you or just a friend?
Yes.
Yes? Both. So is he a brother or just a friend?
Brother.
Brother. All right. Good, but he's kind of both. Thank you. Come here, young man. How old are you?
6.
6? What's your name?
Trevin.
Say that again.
Trevin.
Trebin? How do you spell Trebin? Trevin. Trevin. That's cool. That's cool. So do you have any brothers or sisters showing?
Yes.
Yes? And you're going to show when you get old enough? Just calves or something else?
Calves.
Calves. Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for coming out. I like that name. I hope I remember how to spell that. I guess it's Kevin with a T, huh? TR. How about that? What's your name, young lady?
Macy.
Macy. So now, I thought you were out here showing earlier. Were you out here showing or just somebody that looks like you? First time?
First time.
First time. So how old did you say you are?
7.
7. So when you get old enough, will you be out here showing?
Yeah.
Is this your brother helping?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, guys. Come here, young man. What's your name?
Jace.
Chase. Say that again.
Jace.
Chase? Is that right? Okay. How old are you?
5.
5. And is this your sister's calf?
Yes.
Yes. Well, you're sure doing a good job. Thank you for coming out. Now it looks like we got a serious showman. How old are you, young man?
Good.
How old are you?
6.
6. What's your name?
Jace.
Jace? Is that right, Jace? So do you have any brothers or sisters showing?
Yeah.
Yeah? And then you're going to show when you get old enough? Don't let that calf step on your foot. You going to show in a couple years?
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. Who do you got helping? Dad? Don't let him step on you. So how are you getting along today?
Good.
Do you have a favorite fair food? When you come to the fair, is there something you like to eat?
Yes.
What is it?
Turkey.
Turkey. You like turkey legs? Yeah? That's awesome. They have them here?
We haven't had one yet. I don't know if they have them here or not.
Well, if you find one, bring me one, okay? Thanks for coming out. You almost look like you're 4-H age. How old are you?
8.
8. Next year? Next year you'll show? That's awesome. Who's helping? Is this your brother? Yeah. So now, what's your name?
Augie.
Augie. Cool, cool. So have you been helping him work his calves at home?
Yes.
Good job. That's a good brother. That's a good brother. Next year he can help you, right? Oh, I like your boots. Man, did you get them just for this show?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your name?
Harper.
Harper. And how old are you?
6.
6. So do you have brothers and sisters showing or not yet? Or are you the oldest?
I'm the oldest.
Okay. But in a couple years you're going to be showing?
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Harper. What's your name, young man?
Liam.
Liam. And who's helping you show?
My brother.
Your brother. And how old are you, Liam?
6.
6. Awesome. That's great. You're doing an awesome job. Just keep going over there. They'll have something for you. What's your name, young man?
Samuel.
Samuel. And how old are you?
6.
6. Who do you got helping you?
My friend.
Your friend. And was it his calf? Did you borrow it from him?
Uh-huh.
That's great. That's pretty cool. You going to go ride rides on the carnival later today?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's all right. Buy your friend a ride on the carnival rides, okay? All right. How are you doing?
Good.
What's your name?
Cason.
And how old are you?
6.
6. And who's helping here?
Austin.
Is this your brother?
Yes.
Yes. You're really serious. That's the way he showed when he showed. You guys take this showing cattle real serious, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for coming out. Well, if I were a guessing man, I'd know who this is the younger brother of. You told me he'd be coming in here, right? Did you help do his hair or did Mom do his hair? Mom did it? How old are you?
Good.
Yeah, you're good. How old are you?
6.
6. Do you help older brother work on his calves?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about the fair? Do you like something, food that you like to eat or ride the carnival rides? What do you like to do at the fair?
Ride the rides.
Yeah, I can bet so. You look like the scariest the ride, the more fun you'd have, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to go with you. I'll watch. Thanks for coming out. Wow, look at this little dolly. I'm glad you weren't in showmanship. That smile would kill me. What's your name? Can you tell me your name? Coral? That's a cute name. Wow. How old are you, Coral?
How old are you?
Are you 3? Is she 3 years old? Wow. Is it who's helping show?
What's my name? Avery?
Is Avery helping? You're having a good time out here though, aren't you? Huh? Are you scared of me? All right. You better keep moving. I don't want to scare you. Come on. Hello, young man. What's your name?
Corbin.
Say, Corbin. Corbin, how old are you?
5.
5. So in about 3 years, I'm going to guess you're going to be out here showing, right?
Yep.
Good. That's awesome, Corbin. That's exciting. Is Dad helping?
Say uncle.
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 That's great. That's great. It's fun to have all the family help out, isn't it? That's cool. That's what fair's all about. Better find your uncle an iced tea when you're done. Now, this is a serious-looking showman. What's your name?
Ella.
Ella? And how old are you?
6.
6. And you want to be 8 so you can be showing in the big kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell that. You are one serious girl. Is there some kind of fair food you like eating? Is there something special you like to eat at the fair?
No.
Nope. Anything that Dad will buy you, you'll eat, right?
Yeah.
I bet so. That's awesome. How are you? Good to see you. Help out, Dad. He's not leading. How are you, young lady? You doing good?
Good.
And how old are you?
6.
6. Man, what was everybody doing? We got a lot of 6-year-olds. Anybody been keeping track how many 6-year-olds we got here? So what's your name?
Colin.
Collins. Somebody should have been keeping track. These are some names I haven't heard of either. Colin, that's an awesome name. How do you spell that?
How do you spell your name?
Collins.
Awesome. That's under pressure. That's a great job of spelling. I'm glad nobody asked me how to spell my name. Thank you for coming out. Awesome job. Wow, is this your dad? Are you going to be that tall someday? You're probably going to tell me you're only 2 years old too, probably, huh? What's your name? Hayden. Hayden, how old are you?
4.
4. And you're going to show cattle when you get old enough?
Yeah.
You better get some tall cattle, because if you get as tall as your dad, they'll all look like midgets when you're showing. My gosh, that's awesome. You got your Gage County 4-H Clover shirt on and everything, don't you? What's your name?
Blakely.
And how old are you?
6.
6. I think we're at 20 now of 6-year-olds. So who's helping you?
Laney and Luke.
Are they just friends of yours?
Laney's my friend and Luke's my brother.
And that's your brother. Well, I'll tell you what, if he tells you something you should be doing showing, you listen, because he's a really good showing. Both of these, if they say, this is what you should be doing, I'd listen to both of them. They know a lot about showing, okay? All right, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was looking. Let me guess, do you like pink?
Yeah.
I bet you do. You'd get along with my wife really well. She loves pink also. So how old are you?
6.
You're 6. Of course you are. And what is your name?
Chapel.
Chapel.
Another unique name.
Wow. Somebody should have been writing all of these down. This is awesome. That is great. So who's helping you, Chapel?
My mom.
That's your mom. I bet she showed back in her day too, didn't she? She looks like she's. Are you as intense as she is when she tells you what to do? Can you do everything like she wants you to?
Yeah.
I bet you can. I bet she's a great coach. Thank you for coming out. You don't really want to talk, do you? I can see you even though you got your hand up there. You want to tell me how old you are? No. Do you want to just go get your candy over there and just walk out? Huh? You want to say something? No? All right. All right, you just keep walking. I won't make you talk. We don't want to make this a bad experience. Just keep walking. You're doing a great job. Thank you for coming. How are you, young lady? What's your name?
Lindley.
Lindley. How old are you, Lindley?
I'm 5.
5. You broke the string there. So now, who's helping you show?
I don't know her name.
You don't know her name, but she had a tame calf and you could bring it, right?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Addison.
Her name's Addison. Make sure you thank Addison as you go out, okay?
Okay.
All right. Wow, I like your haircut. Do you do that yourself, or who helps you get your haircut?
I don't know.
You don't know? Do you go to a barber or a hairdresser?
I don't know.
You don't like talking to me? No. How old are you?
7.
7. What's your name?
Creighton.
Braden? Graydon. Creighton? Sorry about that. Creighton. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. So now, do you like showing cattle?
Yeah.
You like playing sports?
Yeah.
What's your favorite sport you like to play?
Baseball.
Baseball. You look like a good baseball player. Thank you for coming out, Creighton. Hello, young lady. What's your name?
Jordan.
Jordan. Jordan, like Jordan Larson, the Olympic volleyball player, Jordan? Do you want to be a volleyball player someday?
Yeah.
Can I tell you a little story? Do you know that Jordan Larson and her dad and I graduated from high school, and Jordan Larson is one of our really good friends? Can you believe that? An Olympian? So now tell me a little more. How old did you say you are?
4.
You're 4. And who's helping you?
Ashton.
Ashton? Is she just a friend that had a calf?
Here's my cousin.
Your cousin Ashton. Well, that's awesome. Thank you, Ashton, for coming out. See you, Jordan. You kind of got the USA colors on there, girl. What's your name?
Brigham.
Brigham? Brigham. That's awesome. Your calf likes my microphone. How old are you, Brigham?
4.
4. So, do you have any other family members that show?
My mom.
Your mom shows? Does your brother show?
Yeah.
I bet your mom used to show. Yeah. Well, so I bet you can't wait until you get to show, huh? Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you for coming out. What's your name, young man?
Dempsey.
Say that again. Dempsey. Wow, I got to get better ears, or I'm trying to guess what these names are, and I'm not even close. So how old are you, Dempsey?
5.
You're 5. And who's this good-looking girl helping? Who is that?
Dayton.
Dayton. And is it just a friend or a sister? Sister.
Sir.
Okay. So do you help her work her calves at home?
No, he's bad at it.
She wasn't going to let him answer. I asked if he helped. She said, no, he's bad at it, so he doesn't help. She wasn't even going to let him have a chance of having a little glory there. So, do you help her?
Yeah.
Okay. He's not. No? All right. Thank you for coming out, Dempsey. That's awesome. You look pretty fearless. How old are you?
Yeah.
Are you 2 years old? Are you 2? What's your name?
Cade.
Cade. With a K? K-A-D-E? That's a cool name, Cade. So who's helping show? Who is it?
I don't know.
You don't know that gal helping? Who is it?
Am I your mom?
Yeah.
If she isn't your mom, she looks like she is your mom. So you sure have that mold of the same one. So that's would have been my guess, but I didn't know. So, well, you're doing a great job. You think they got something over there for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to say hi to anybody? Do you see anybody you want to wave at and say hi to? There you go. There you go.
Okay.
Thank you. How you doing, young man? Doing good? Yeah. What's your name?
Isaiah.
Isaiah. And how old are you, Isaiah?
Good.
But how old are you?
3.
You're 3? Man, you're going to be tall when you grow up. That's a tall 3-year-old. With your muscle shirt and stuff, I'd have guessed you 6 or 7. So do you have brothers and sisters that have been showing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And are you the youngest? Are you the youngest of all of them?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you're the best looking and the best kid?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I bet you are. I bet you are. Well, thank you for coming out. Give me some knuckles on the way by. Attaboy. Thank you.
Start him young.
That's it. That's all. That's all. Right here, young man. You want to talk in a mic? You don't? Okay. You don't want to talk? Hey, they might not give you anything if you don't talk to me. He was pretty adamant he didn't want to talk to me. What if I come talk to you? You just stay there and I'll come over there. You just stay where you are. What's your name? Jason?
Cason.
Cason. Cason, how old are you?
5.
You're 5. And who's this guy helping?
Caden.
And who is he, any relation or just a friend?
Next year.
What?
Family member.
Family member is who he is. All right. Now you can go over and get that. You did a great job. I don't know why you didn't want to talk on the mic right away. Kylie. That's not the first time that's happened. I could see you were going for the tail to get it up. You knew exactly what to do. Is your name Kylie? Yeah. Say, is your name Kylie? Are you afraid of the microphone? Kylie, how old are you? Are you 2? You're 3? You're this many? You sure have pretty earrings. What's the calf's name?
Elsa.
Elsa? Oh, I bet it is. Absolutely. That's one of your favorite calves, isn't it? Well, thank you for coming. What's your name?
Kinley.
Kinley. How old are you? What's your age?
7.
You're 7. So in a couple years you'll be showing?
Yeah.
Yep. And who's this helping? Who is that? You don't know her?
I forgot.
What'd she say? I forgot. You forgot? Is she a family member, a friend, just somebody that you found a calf with, or what?
Friend.
A friend. All right, all right. Well, that's nice that she lets you use her calf, isn't it? Yeah. Well, thank you for coming out. You got anybody you want to say hi to? No? Anybody you want to wave at? No? All right. Forget glass slippers. This princess wears boots. That's awesome. That's awesome. Pink boots too, right? So what's your name?
Henny.
Kinley? Henley. Henley, how old are you? Let me hold it. You hold up. 3? That's awesome. That's awesome. Who's this helping?
Just a friend.
It's your friend.
Friend. That's awesome. That is cool. Well, I love that outfit. You just keep wearing that like that, and you keep showing them how to wear them boots, okay? What's your name, young lady?
Clara.
Clara? Clara, how old are you?
4.
You're 4. Who's this? Who's taking pictures? Your mom? Who's helping behind? Who's this guy?
Daddy.
That's Dad. That's pretty fun to have Dad out here helping, isn't it? He does a good job, doesn't he? All right, thank you for coming out.
How about a hand for all these exhibitors? And I think we've probably gotten everybody. Again, thanks to the 4-H members and the families and the parents and everybody for bringing these kids out, because they are the future of 4-H and FFA and the Gage County Fair. So again, our thanks to the Ag Society and Farm Credit Services of America for sponsoring the Peewee Showmanship contest. The Ag Society also has cookies for you at the front entrance to the arena with celebration of the 150 of the Gage County Fair. We'll give the judge a quick break here, and about 20 minutes we'll return for the market classes. So congratulations again to all exhibitors, and we'll see